All right, today is Saturday. Is it the 28th or 29th? Hold on. The 29th. Saturday, December 29th. My last update is I got out on Christmas Day, and that was great. um, it was nice to just be home and not be in the hospital. Obviously, since then I have shaved my head. I hope you guys have watched my head shaving video because it's actually hilarious. Please watch it. Um, my hair already started falling out, and you just self-consciously just put your hand through your hair and just giant chunks would come out. I'm like, I don't even care, just shave it all off. So this is what it looks like. I keep getting weirded out by this thing. I think because I used to part my hair there, I think, and that's what happened, but it's whatever. So I got home Christmas Day, which was Tuesday, the 25th, obviously. And then I had to get a port placed on Wednesday, the 26th, which basically that's how they give your chemo and take your blood and all that stuff. So I had the temporary one, which was just like this super annoying thing, and it had literally, they were probably like this long, that were sticking out of my leg, let alone the catheter that was in my chest. So it was like, it didn't get caught on things, but I was like super nervous that it would get caught on things, and it was just like inconvenient and in the way. So I guess it's pretty standard for cancer patients to get a port. But I don't have the option of putting it in my chest, which is like the first place that they'd put it, I guess, like number one spot. I don't really know. Most common, that's the word. The most common place you'd put it is in your chest because it's like directly to all your blood supply. But I have blood clots and all that garbage going on. So they said they didn't want to ruin my only good veins that I have left. And then obviously if it goes to like a blood clot place, then it's just going to be like stuck there and like burn me or whatever. So high tech. So it's in my groin again. So it had to be like a technical surgery. It wasn't like a super intense one, but they have to go under the skin and place it, and it like goes into my femoral vein, and there's this whole long wire that's all crazy, and it's like 2 feet long, and it's just all up here from my leg all the way up here, so that's a long distance to travel. But so it sucked because obviously you're going into surgery, so you can't eat for 8 hours or whatever it is. So I woke up Wednesday morning and I felt like garbage, like, oh. So I think it was because I was taking steroids because of, obviously my body's going through some crazy stuff right now. So I had stopped taking steroids. That was like day 2, I think, of not being on steroids. So like my muscles hurt. Like I literally felt like I did CrossFit for like hours, and I woke up and I was just like, why do I hurt everywhere? I didn't do anything. So my muscles hurt, and I'm doing pretty good today, but I was actually really swollen too. Like my face is kind of round as it is because I'm bald now, but like my face was swollen, my knees were swollen. I had like pregnant lady ankles. I just I felt like garbage, and didn't get enough sleep. I was hungry. I was thirsty. I couldn't do anything. So like Wednesday morning was rough. And then my parents bring me, because I was going to be under anesthesia, so someone had to drive me. And they take me to the hospital, and I'm just like, I literally got out yesterday. I can't believe I'm back. Like, I'm a little bitter about it. I hate this place, but whatever. So, they get me all checked in. Excuse my yawning. So they get me all checked in or whatever, and they take me back, and lay me down, and this nurse comes in, and he's like, we have to give you an IV because, medication, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I've been poked a bajillion times. I've dubbed myself the human pincushion. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. I understand. And he goes, for this arm, which is the very colorful black one, which, again, I'm wearing long sleeves, so you can't really see. Hold on. No one has been putting anything in that arm because it's hard to see my veins. So he goes to that arm, and I made a joke, and I was like, oh, people are afraid of that arm, whatever. And he's older, and he's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm not afraid. And I was like, great, awesome. So he goes to put the IV in, and they poke your skin and whatever, and then he's just sitting there. And he's doing this. And I'm like, I can tell you're having a hard time right now because it's not done and you're still poking my arm. And he literally sits there for like a solid minute, like a minute or two, just poking my arm. And like, that's a long time to just lay there. And like, IVs are uncomfortable and painful. And I'm just like laying there and I'm like, you having some trouble over there? Like, how's it going? How's it going for you? And eventually he like pulls out and he's like, oh, I can't find it. And I was like, I don't want to say I told you so, but there's a reason no one goes to that arm. It's purple and black, like. So he puts the little cotton ball and like wraps my arm up, and then he goes to my other arm and he's like, okay, we're gonna do it in this arm. And I'm like, well, I only have 2 arms, so I really hope so. So then same thing. He pokes me and then he's like, and I'm like, you struggling there, sir? You still struggling? Because then, again, I don't feel very good. I haven't had anything to eat. It's early in the morning. I'm cranky. You've now, like, poked the hell out of one arm. You're poking the hell out of my other arm. Like, so eventually, again, like another solid minute or 2 go by, and he finally gets it in. He's like, oh, yeah, I got it in. And I was like, great. That was so fun for me. So then he like gets the IV going and he tries to take some blood and he's like, oh, I didn't get enough blood. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I have a whole body's worth of blood and you're telling me you didn't get enough? Or you just like not taking it? Like, what does that mean? And then I was like, well, I mean, I just got chemo. Like, I don't know if that'll affect blood supply to my arm. Like, you're the nurse. You tell me. I don't know. I've never gotten chemo before. This is new. And then he ends up calling phlebotomy to come in and get more blood. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is going to be just more people to sit here and poke and prod me. And like, and like, this nurse, he's honestly kind of a weirdo as it is. Like, he just, you know, people that are just kind of not all there. Not all there. So then the phlebotomist comes in and like, he's trying to make small talk. And like, I'm a conversationalist, I get it. So I don't know if he was just trying to make small talk because he was new or if he was trying to make small talk because I was talking. But he literally says, oh, what are you in for today? And I'm cranky. And I look at him and I go, cancer. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And like, he like does the thing that everyone does when you get the cancer news. And I'm like, dude, I'm clearly in the hospital. I clearly have 57 IVs in me right now. I'm on the table, like, not good. No one goes to the hospital for fun. Like, oh, yeah, no, my sister, I was here for my sister's birthday and I just got her a present, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm here for not a good reason. Like, so I kind of felt a little bit bad because I definitely, like, ruined his mood. But I was like, don't ask me why I'm in the hospital right now, dude. But so he's trying to look for a vein and obviously goes to the one arm and he's like, oh, did you have an IV? And I was like, well, he tried and missed. And then he goes to the other one and he's like, well, you have an IV in this arm, so we can't do either of like the ditches in my arm. So then he's like, well, there's a main blood supply like in your forearm. And he looks at both of them. And again, this one is black. He does not choose this one. And then he looks at the other one. He's like, oh, I'm not really happy with either of these. And I was like, you're running out of options here, dude. Like, I don't have very many veins in me that you could use, apparently. So then he ends up going in my hand, which you can kind of see it. It's a little bruised right now. Because I bruise very easily because I'm on blood thinners and, you know, cancer. But so he ends up going in my hand and he's like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of this one, but it's going to have to work. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's going to have to work. Like, what? I don't know. I was just irritated. So then he like gets enough blood, I guess, and like goes back. And he's like, all right, have a good day. And I'm like, yeah, no, love it. Awesome. Cancer's great. Just, again, I was irritated. So maybe I was blowing it out of proportions, but whatever. So then, like, I have to sit there for, I was probably there for, like, an hour at that point just because of, like, trying to get my IV in and, you know, doing all the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. So I was probably there for, like, an hour. And then they're like, you know, the doctor's gonna come in and talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So then the doctor comes in and, like, I don't even remember his name, Dr. Schroeder, or something like that. And he, like, walks in. He's like, I'm Dr. Schroeder. And then, his physician's assistant walks in behind him, or it was like a medical student or something. Oh God, he was adorable. And he like walked in and I was like, oh, let me perk up a little, like, oh, hi. He's like, hi, I'm the medical student. I'm going to be observing. And I was like, yeah, you'll be observing. Mm-hmm. So didn't get his number, a little sad, but if you're watching this, you cute, hit me up. You want a girl with cancer. She got attitude. She got personality. So I'm talking to the doctor, you know, and he's explaining it's going to be in your femoral vein in your leg, blah, blah, blah. You can't get it in your chest. Can I look at the site? And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, again, at this point, there's no, like, boundaries. Like, it just make me better, you know what I mean? And so he looks at my leg and I have a bunch of tattoos and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you have so many tattoos." And I was like, I mean, did you not guess that at this point in time? But okay. And he's like, "Well, what about your other leg?" And I was like, "No, I have more on the other leg. Like, that leg is completely blue. This one just has, like, you know, some spots, whatever. That one is blue." And he's sitting there and he's thinking, he goes, "Well, it's gonna leave a scar." And I was like, I really appreciate the fact that you're very concerned about my scarring right now, but if this is what's gonna get rid of my cancer, do whatever you need to do, dude. Like, don't be concerned about the scars I'm gonna get. Damn! So he was super concerned about my tattoos, which was really sweet. So he, like, ends up leaving or whatever, you know, I lay there for a minute, and then they wheel me back into the room, and there's, like, you know, like 5 or 6 nurses, and again, I'm a human pincushion, and they're doing this, and giving me this, and putting the little, breathy thing so I can get anesthesia, and prepping my area, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have so many tattoos," and I'm just, like, laying there again, I'm cranky, I'm hungry, I just want to get this over with, and I'm like, just look at them, like, I don't even care, I'm, like, butt-ass naked in this hospital room, because that's how it works, and it's a femoral vein in my groin, like, I get it. So then they're all just, like, looking at my tattoos, and, you know, asking me questions, and that was kind of cool, you know, because they were, like, I don't want to say they were people, but, you know, like, they were people. Kind of got my mind off of it. But so then, you know, like, the surgeon comes in, and they're, like, prepping me, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna give you some anesthesia through your little breathy thing," high-tech terms here, "just to help calm you down or something." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever." And I guess I ended up falling asleep just because, again, tired, cranky, you just want to sleep. Like, I want to eat, but if I can't eat, I'm asleep. So I guess I slept through the whole thing. And, you know, I wake up in recovery, they're, like, wheeling me over, and my parents are like, "All right, let's go, gotta go," because they're from Reno, so they had to drive back that day. Like, that was the plan. They were gonna take me home and then go to Reno. But because I was under anesthesia, I had to lay there for like 45 minutes. So then Mom was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just gonna make us stay here for so long, blah, blah, blah. Putting a wrench in our plans." And I was like, "Okay, Mom." So then, you know, they wheel me back and they order me some food. And honestly, I think I was just too excited to eat, and I ate it way too fast, and I totally threw it up. So then I was, like, sad, because I was like, well, I'm still hungry, but I just threw up, so I don't want to eat now. And I'm just like, huh. So then I'm, like, you know, sitting there, and I'm just all, like, groggy and sore. And we end up, like, leaving the hospital room, and my parents take me to the pharmacy because I had, like, pain medication, nausea medication, every medication under the sun to pick up. So then we get there, and it's, like, not ready. So then my parents are like, "Okay, we're just gonna get some food so we can get on the road and go." But then they went to, I think it was Pizza Hut, so then they had to wait for it to be made. And so they get me home, and they, like, end up not leaving until, like, 2 or something. So that was kind of, the drive from here to Reno was, like, 6 hours, so they were gonna be home late, and the weather was bad and whatever. But so I get home, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna eat something, like, real gentle. I'm gonna have, like, a protein shake, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So I do all that, and I look at my leg when I wake up, and it's, like, butchered. Like, the old port, obviously, was, again, in my femoral vein. It's a huge hole in my body. So then they closed that with, it's called Dermabond, but it's basically just a glue. So they basically glued that together. And then the cut from the port was huge. It's like this, well, maybe not that big. It's like this big. It's like a solid 1.5 inches. And it was actually really kind because the surgeon totally did between my tattoo, so he didn't mess up my tattoo. But it was, like, huge, and my leg was all, like, bruised, and, like, and I bruise easy because of the blood thinners and everything, so it, like, looked so bad. And I was, like, staring at it, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrifying, I don't even know what this is. And then it's, like, obviously sore and swollen and whatever. So that was Wednesday. So I ended up, like, just napping or whatever, and then Thursday, actually, I felt pretty good. Like, I was still kind of swollen, but not super swollen, and, like, obviously, I've just been tired, but I actually felt pretty good. So I had some, like, friends come over, and I just kind of hung out on Thursday. I actually made a bajillion phone calls to, like, the insurance and short-term disability and all these people, and, the short-term disability lady on the phone, you know, because they're, like, pulling up my records or whatever. Like, I just called in, like, the initial person, and she pulls up my records, and she's just talking, and then all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh, you you are so strong. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna fight this. And she like breaks down on the phone. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm just trying to get my insurance through so I can like get disability, but like thank you, because like obviously she saw my diagnosis at that point and like my age, and she just like broke down, and I felt so bad. And I was like, well, I imagine that job's pretty hard, like short-term disabilities, people are hurt, people are injured, like it's not a good job, like it's not a happy job. So that was a little rough. But so Thursday I was just like making phone calls, and I had some friends come over and whatever. And then yesterday was Friday, and I had my first blood draw. So I was still feeling pretty good yesterday. So I ran some errands. First thing I did was I went to the post office because I had, some packages, Etsy packages to mail out. If you guys haven't looked at my Etsy yet, you should. I got all kinds of stuff I'm making now. So I like mailed out some Etsy packages, and then I went to the store because I had to go to the pharmacy still to get all my prescriptions. And then I bought some sushi, and it was Safeway sushi, and it was totally mediocre. But I'm not allowed to have sushi here in a couple months because it's like raw food and all that. So I was like, I just want to have sushi one more time before I, can't have it anymore. And I didn't want to like go to a sushi restaurant and spend a bunch of money because I was like, if I'm feeling sick and I end up like throwing all this up, that was a waste of money. So, I spent like $15 on store sushi, and it, like I said, it was totally mediocre, but I was sitting there and I was like, I'm going to miss this. So I had some sushi. And then I actually finally made it to Barnes & Noble, because if you remember in my other video, I was at Barnes & Noble picking out books when I got the phone call saying, come tonight, we're starting chemo. So I didn't even end up getting any books that night. So I went yesterday, on Friday, the 28th, 27th, whatever day it was. And I picked out some books, and I don't know, I shaved my head Thursday night. So I like first outing, I guess, with my shaved head. And like, I don't see it. I don't feel any different. But it's cold as hell, by the way. I like walked outside and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freezing. So that was a thing. But so it was like my first outing, and like it was kind of weird just because like people look at you, and like I have a head tattoo, which you saw in the other video. So like people always stare at me anyways, obviously because of my tattoos. But now it's just like, ooh, they're looking at my bald head now, and like, I don't know, it kind of made it real. Like, I feel like it's weird that shaving your head makes you have cancer, but now I have cancer, you know what I mean? So that was weird. And then driving was actually super terrifying because my port's in my leg, and I was like, it's just gonna catch on my seatbelt. I'm gonna get in a car accident, and this thing's gonna rip out of my body, and it's gonna hurt so bad, and they're gonna have to sit there, and like, I literally have a bracelet. Hold on, let me show you guys. I have to wear this little bracelet, and I have a little like identification thing in my wallet and on my keychain about my port. So now I'm just like, that also makes me feel like I'm actually sick now, because I'm like, I joke that I'm a card carrying member now. Like if I get in an accident or something happens, they have to read the little thing saying I'm sick, this is what's going on. So that was also weird to me. But so I like went to Barnes & Noble, I picked out a bunch of books. And then I went to the cancer center to get my blood drawn. And actually, it was like, it felt weird. I totally belonged. I like walked in and everyone just like understood. And I was like, this is kind of hard just because like this is where I belong. But I was so comfortable there. I was just like, hey, what's up, Mom? You bald too? Same. Like no one, I don't want to say no one judged you, but like they knew. You know what I mean? Like obviously you're at the cancer center. Obviously you're bald. Like they know what you're going through. So it's been this weird mutual thing. I don't even know how to describe it. What's the word I'm looking for? Like community? I don't know. You're going to the hospital, you're sick, you know what I mean? Whatever. So I get there and, they like go to draw my blood, and she's like, well, pull down your shirt so I can see your chest. And I like, whatever, I did it. She's like, well, where's your port? I was like, oh, it's in my leg. And she was like, I've never seen this before, which is literally the epitome of my entire story so far. Because again, it's standard in your chest. And she was like, I've never seen it. She's like, she was younger. She was, older than me, but late 20s. And so she was like super interested because she's like, I've never done this before. I want to do it, but I want to have someone else do it first because, I don't want to hurt you. And like my leg is like super bruised and swollen and red. And I was like, please don't do it. It's going to hurt so bad. I'm not excited. So whatever. I was like already not excited. You getting your blood drawn. Like how exciting is that? So they end up like taking me upstairs where they like actually get chemo, and it's really pretty. It was all windows, and it was all facing like the mountains and stuff, and you know there's snow on the ground, so it was really pretty. But there was a nurse up there that had done it before and whatever, and so she like looked at my port. She's like, "This is super new, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I got it like 2 days ago." And she's like, "So they didn't put chemo through it?" And I was like, "No." And I explained the whole temporary port and blah blah blah. And then she like starts looking at my chart, and she's like, "You just found out." And again, this was Friday, so I was like, "Yeah, no, it's been 2 weeks and a day. It's literally been 2 weeks." And she's like, "And you've already had chemo?" And I was like, "Yep." And then she went in and looked at like the medications they were giving, like the chemo toxins or whatever that they were giving me, and she goes, "That's what they're giving you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "These are like elephant doses of elephant poison." And I was like, like, it's the chemo I'm getting. I don't know. I've never had chemo before. Like, is this standard? Like, And she's like, "You're being hospitalized, right?" And I was like, I explained it's 5 days, whatever, and they give me 4 bags, 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. I have to be in the hospital. And she's like, "And you feel this good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing good." Like, similar attitude as to what I'm right now. And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And she's like, "You should be dying. These are elephant doses." And I was like, another person to tell me that I should be dying. Love ya. Thanks. And at this point, I'm just like, whatever. I've already heard it enough times. I don't even care at this point. But not dying because of the cancer, dying because of the chemo at this point. So that was kind of new. But then, she kind of like obviously understood that I'm a bright, cheery person and this is how I deal with things. So she was really cool, actually. We ended up bonding and like having a good conversation. And like the people at the cancer center totally appreciate my jokes way more than anyone else does. So that was good. But then she goes to take my port. Someone knocked on the door. Hold on. Anyways, so she goes to access my port, and like my leg is all bruised and disgusting, and like I just got it, so it's like super sore and tender. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, this is gonna suck. It's gonna hurt so bad. Like, I don't even want to deal with this. But like, obviously she needs to take my blood, so like, whatever. And it's so, the way that my port is it's like the size of a quarter. And it's like this little triangle thing. And there's like a little mesh membrane or whatever. I guess it's more membrane than mesh. But that sits at the top. And then there's this catheter that goes from the port all the way up my femoral vein, that's what it's called, into my chest and all that stuff. So they take a needle that's like, there's like a little thing and then the needle's perpendicular to it. So they like plug it in basically. And that's how they access everything. So she takes the little needle and she basically like plugs it in. And it was so easy. Like I barely even felt it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I understand why I have this now. Because at first they're like, you need to get a port. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but I'm just going to do it because you tell me to. It is so nice. Like, I'm sure you guys have gotten your blood drawn before and it just like hurts and it's annoying. And you get like the arm IV and it's just like your arm is straight and like, yeah, you can't do anything and blah, and it hurts for like 3 days after kind of thing. It's so easy. So let me tell you, not that you guys are going to get cancer, but if you ever get cancer, the port, oh, magic. Love it. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Oh, so great. So then she like takes my blood and we're just like chilling and I'm like on top of the world. I was like, fuck yeah, I love this port. And then she like administers medicine through it and it's so easy. Anyways, love the port. Digging the port. I think they're going to they should administer all my chemo through it from what I understand. And, they take blood from it and it's easy as hell. And since it's under my skin, I like cut in the first layer of skin there. It's between my skin and my muscle. It doesn't catch on things. So like you can feel it under my skin. Like it's just this weird bump, but I assume it's not going to catch on anything. I don't know. I haven't caught it on anything yet. So I was driving and I was so worried that I was going to catch it, but good so far. So after the cancer center, I ran some errands and did whatever. So Friday was actually quite eventful. I was a little tired just because I did so much and I hadn't like done a ton up until that point. Like I was just napping all day basically. And that was like the first day that I got out. So it was kind of nice just because I'm going to be on house arrest here, in a month or whatever it is. So I was it was nice to get outside, but I'm just like accepting this is not going to happen. I have to have other people do things for me. I'm only leaving when I'm going to the hospital. So I'm going to have to wear a mask and all that. So it was not bad. And then today, Saturday, I'm not doing anything. I might be going to the movies, but that's it. So, update video number, what are we at, 4? 5, 6? I don't know. I'm gonna stop counting because I'm gonna lose track here. But December 28th, I think. Let me check again. Hold on. 29th. Today is the 29th, and that is my update. Stay thirsty, my friends. I almost forgot. Just kidding. We're not leaving. We're throwing a little splice here at the end. I got my bone biopsy results back on Thursday, and they were good. So there's no cancer in my bone marrow. It's just in my chest. And I mean, like it's big, but it's the only one we got to deal with. It's not anywhere else. It's one place, not in my bones, not anywhere but my chest. So, good, great, boom, it's gonna die. It's gonna die so easy because it's just one thing, and that's it. So, my official diagnosis is large B-cell mediastinal non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I looked back at my first video and I realized I totally said B4 lymphoma, not B-cell lymphoma, but B-cell. So, do your research, ask me questions, leave comments on my videos. We're gonna do this together.